Hi, I'm Kirby.
I'm Dana.
And we are
Migratory Nerds. It's time for our latest adventure. Let's get exploring.
Where are we going today?
Epic.
It's the second to last day of previews. Let's go. So we stayed at Terra Luna last night, so make sure that you are subscribed and you go check that out. So we're taking the bus from Terra Luna to Epic. We'll tell you how long it takes to get there and how long a walk it is to the front of the park. It was a 3.5-minute bus ride from Terra Luna to Epic. And we're in. Let's go. You enter the park in Celestial Park, which Universal says is the cosmic heart of Universal Epic Universe, where wondrous discoveries await among the lush greenery, tree-lined walkways, and dancing fountains. Our first stop is Super Nintendo World. Super Nintendo World is broken up into two sections, Super Mario Land and Donkey Kong Country. Guys, it smells like bananas in Donkey Kong Land. The main attraction in Donkey Kong Country is Minecart Madness, which is a roller coaster. It was unfortunately closed on this day of previews that we went, but we've got a day coming up in September, so we hope to ride it then. This track jump is so incredibly well engineered. I'm very excited to ride this when we come back in September. Alright, this is the Donkey Kong Minecart Madness. Okay. The bathrooms were themed like a Mario underwater game, and then there was a bottle refill right outside the bathroom. First attraction of the day, Yoshi's Adventure. Let's go! This is the seat for Yoshi's, which is a slow-moving ride but still has a restraint. Okay, using the test seats out front to see if you actually fit, they'll have these lights, so once the light turns green, that means that you would be able to go on that ride. Yoshi's Adventure is a slow-moving, family-friendly ride, but does have a height requirement of 34 inches. You board this attraction on a slow-moving conveyor belt. However, if you have any mobility needs, they will stop this so that you can board while it is stationary. The attraction also has a wheelchair accessible cart where you would stay in your vehicle and be able to roll in and experience the attraction that way. This was posted at an hour, it's about a 40-minute wait outside for snacks. This is the red shell calzone from Yoshi's Snack Island. It's a savory calzone with pepperoni sausage, cheese, and marinara sauce. The green shell calzone is a plant-based option. In addition to the water bottle refill stations around, any place there's a freestyle machine, you'll be able to get nice ice-cold filtered water. The other attraction, Bowser's Challenge, was down at the beginning of the day and then had a very long line throughout the day, so we'll have to ride that in September also. There's Angie's adventure was cute. I don't know if it's worth the 45 minutes we waited for it, but it was a nice air-conditioned break. And it's pretty slow moving, really family friendly, but it does have a height requirement, which I think is odd. And that red shell pizza dough thing was delicious and a really good portion for $12.99. All right, so let's talk about Super Nintendo World.
Okay.
I'm overwhelmed just thinking about it. From a accessibility standpoint, mobility accessible. There are stairs everywhere.
There are stairs everywhere. So to get in, you take an escalator up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're in, and there's stuff on the upper level.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are stairs down to a lower level.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're in, we only did one ride.
Mm-hmm.
But Yoshi, you enter from the lower level, and then you have to take stairs up to the upper level to get on the ride. There are a lot of stairs.
There are a lot of stairs. And I know we didn't do Bowser's Challenge, but I have seen that queue in videos, and it has stairs. I actually think every attraction in the park has stairs in the queue.
Every attraction that we went into had
stairs in the queue. This was the only land, sensory-wise, that I felt really overwhelmed.
It's very loud with the Mario Brothers
right,
music.
It's the video game background music.
Like all those little cube.
Right, the power-up cubes and the interactive games are also making noise. And it's bright colors, and it was a lot. So and
on the same coin, amazing, right?
Incredible.
You're so immersed. The attention to detail is incredible. It is really like a work of art. You're like walking into a video game. You have the sense of it. You can't see any of the other part of the
that
park.
whole portal entrance, they did an impeccable job. The only land you can see is the land you're in.
Yes.
Which is amazing. And
it's amazing.
So well done and executed.
Yeah.
But it can be if
it was sensory overload.
It was sensory overload from that kind of an accessibility. And then everywhere there are stairs, there are elevators. So you can get to where you're going, but there are a lot of stairs.
Yes.
And it takes a little bit more time out of your day if you need to wait for elevators for every single step of the process in that land and moving around. So, anything else about Super Nintendo World?
I am looking forward to riding the other rides.
Minecart Madness was our really wanted to do.
I love Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And the Bowser's thing was down for a lot of the day.
And then we didn't make it back over. So.
Right. So I'm looking forward to that. And we didn't do any other food besides the...
No, we had the little snack.
Calzone, but that was delicious.
It was really good. And we've toyed with the idea of getting one power-up band to sort of just be able to do some of the things. So I really want to spend a little bit more time in there. But that's one of the... downside is not the right word. But because it's not part of any... For us who live in Orlando, because it's not part of any sort of like annual pass currently, you feel like... I would spend hours, right, just sort of looking at all of the immersive features. But when you're trying to cram everything into one day, you don't have that luxury yet. So
not yet.
Yeah, but I do. If you're sensitive to noise, I would get some noise reducing earplugs.
We both wore them.
We both wore them. So I actually wore them all day.
Yes. I only wore it in this land.
Yeah. All right, next stop, Darkmoor. Make sure you're subscribed because we're staying at Helios Grand in September and coming back. jumping in restrooms is weird, but Universal should stop theming them if they don't want people to film them. So far, the two we've been in have been themed perfectly for their room. Curse of the Werewolf, which is the coaster that's in Darkmoor, is not running today because it is the second to last day of previews. But we are going to try and get in the Curse of Frankenstein. I don't know what the exact name is, but that's our next try. The ride is called Monsters Unchained: The Frankenstein Experiment, where Dr. Victoria Frankenstein puts you in the midst of an angry revolt of fiendish monsters. Monsters Unchained has essentially the same ride system as Forbidden Journey. They have two seat options. This first seat is the standard seat, and then the seat to the left is the modified seat, which gives you a little bit more space, both width and height, to be able to fit into the attraction. This queue has quite a lot of flashing lights, so if you have any photosensitivity, I would skip ahead about 3 minutes till we come out of the other side of the attraction. This is all extended queue for the ride, so they are prepared for long waits. Here's another bottle refill if you need it while you're in line.
I hear you say, where's the fun in that? I agree, you delightful freak. Sadly, this is not that kind of experiment. Look closely. This is a catacombs navigation unit. All you little lab rats and your little lab rat friends get to ride one. You sit, Igor steals, nothing goes wrong. Yes? Don't forget that. This is just the emergency feature function. According to plan. You're bothering our guests. Send them in. I'm ready.
Finish what my great-grandfather started. They called Henry a monster. They were afraid of what you've done. But you will see. There's nothing to fear. Show them. Lower the lights, quickly. Now. These people are friends. Count Dracula. Calm yourself. That wasn't us.
Silence, creature. I will destroy you when you're in.
These two just don't get along. The Dracula experiment is the last piece of the puzzle. And with your help, the world will never go through them. Quickly, this will change your life. I'll join you in the catacombs.
While this loads on a moving platform, I have seen posted online that there is a secondary stationary loading area. So Monsters Unchained is the same ride system as Forbidden Journey, but it didn't make me in any way motion sick like Forbidden Journey does, where the 3D screens sort of attach and you move along with them. This doesn't have that, so it's way less motion sickness. did you think of Dark Universe?
I am very surprised, but this was my favorite land. Is that what they're called? Worlds?
Worlds, lands,
Land.
portals, yes.
I don't like scary movies. I was not expecting to be like so intrigued by everything, and like everything was just so cool and well done. And I really want to go back and explore more and try more food options.
We didn't eat anything in there.
We didn't eat anything in there. And at night.
Yeah. And if you're not a fan of scary, right? It is classic monsters, it's Dark Universe, but there are characters that are roaming and interacting, but they're not roaming and interacting to scare you like you were at Halloween Horror Nights with a scare actor.
There are no scare actors. There's
Right.
nobody like jumping out at you in the
queues of
queue.
things, right? Like we saw the Invisible Man, and they're out interacting, but they're not out to scare you like they are at Halloween Horror Nights. So like if you're worried about that, it wasn't...
I don't do Halloween Horror Nights.
It wasn't like scary like that. It was just classic like Universal monsters. And Monsters Unchained,
That
the
was
ride,
amazing.
was incredible.
It's the same ride vehicle as Forbidden Journey, which is the ride inside of Hogwarts Castle. But the 3D screens aren't there, so it's not so like...
Yes, I spend half of Forbidden Journey
nauseating.
with my eyes closed anytime those screens attach.
I don't even get on that ride anymore.
And there are screens, but they're like stationary as part of like the set, not like you're not flying on a broomstick like Forbidden Journey with the screen and moving around. That's what makes me motion sick, and I didn't have any problem with that. And it was incredible. Again, accessibility wise, there were stairs in that queue. There was a lot of flashing lights, which I didn't look at the warning sign before we got in the queue, so I'm assuming it's there, but it wasn't like, there was a consistent amount of like flashing strobing lights, which I don't have any photosensitivity, but that's a sensory thing for me. Like that was something I wish I knew was coming, and I would have kept my sunglasses out, like that kind of thing. The land itself, I didn't recall any stairs other than in the queue for Monsters Unchained, but all navigating throughout the land, I didn't see any stairs. One thing that I didn't notice that when we go back in September I'm gonna look for is someone online, when I was researching accessibility, said none of the doors are electronic. So like if you go up to Burning Blade Tavern, the door you have to manually open, which it would be nice if they were, automatic. I'm going to look in September because that's not something I was thinking about. This land didn't bother me like noise and sensory wise.
No.
The background music soundtrack throughout Epic Universe was fantastic. Like each land had really great background music, but unlike Super Nintendo World, this was it was like eerie music, and so it was a lot quieter and less overwhelming.
And even in the Monsters Unchained queue, until we got to those like 2 rooms with the flashing lights, there wasn't loud music either. So those 2 rooms, which were like the 2 rooms before you start the ride,
the pre-shows,
those were the sensory overload, but the rest really wasn't.
Yeah, and you have to transfer out of a chair to experience the ride, but like Forbidden Journey, there is a stationary loading zone. So you do load on a rotating conveyor belt, but they do have a separate load area where you get on, and then they like that car rejoins the ride track. So that's a nice feature if you needed a little bit more time to get settled.
And I think every single car has 2 bigger person seats.
Correct. I believe it's the outer or what they call the standard seats, and the 2 middle are the larger seats, both taller and wider, more accommodating seats. So but you don't need to be taller or wider. I sat in one of the middle seats,
right?
And it was fine, right? It's just
I'm wider but not taller.
Yeah. Anything else about Dark Universe?
Nope.
All right, we're heading back to Celestial Park for some lunch at Pizza Moon. How's your day going so far?
Good.
Good?
It's pretty cool here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Pizza Moon is a quick service restaurant, but it is delivered to your table. So you'd order on the app and then you'll enter your table number once you're seated. If you don't want to order on the app or you have any allergy concerns, there is a register in the restaurant that you can speak to a team member to place your order. Obviously, the pizza oven is a spaceship. We ordered the giant mushroom, which is roasted garlic bechamel, fromage de lune, wild mushrooms, truffle aioli, and parsley. I really do appreciate how they tried to put the park in Celestial Park, just hoping a few more trees grow in to give some shade. What do you think of Pizza Moon?
It was really good.
It was really
I'll have
good.
to try more things.
Yeah, we got the mushroom one and split it so we can eat as many things as possible. Alright, on to How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. Alright, time to ride Hiccup's Wing Gliders. This is Hiccup's Wing Gliders. Good? Alright. Most adorable bottle refill ever. There's shade for much of this queue. None of it's indoors. But if you're in the really, really extended queue, there is no shade. This is all of the extended queue for Hiccup's Wing Gliders that would not be covered by any sort of shade if you were in line. It's listed at 55 right now, and we're at the very end of the extended queue that's not in shade. Hall. Fire Drill is a water boat ride, so prepare to be soaked. There is no height requirement for this. The Untrainable Dragon is a live show where you can experience the wonder of dragons on stage and soaring overhead in this spectacular, music-filled, heartwarming live show. Alright, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk.
Mm-hmm. So this land is set sort of
I think it's supposed to be like after 2
in
before
between
3.
2 and 3. It's really cute.
But if you have not seen How to Train Your Dragon,
you'll still
or you
enjoy
haven't
it.
seen it in years, because we didn't actually watch the first one till after we got back, you don't need to know anything about it to appreciate that it's adorable.
Yes, it's so cute and colorful, and definitely, I would say, set up more as like kids.
Yes, but I don't think Epic in general is geared towards younger kids.
No.
Because of the attractions that they have and the height requirements things. There is a kids play area in Isle of Berk that I did not film because there were always kids on it. But and the fire drill, the boat ride does not have a height requirement. That's the only attraction other than maybe the carousel, which we didn't ride, that doesn't have a height requirement.
Yeah.
Even Yoshi's has a height requirement. So like if you have, and then we didn't ride fire drill because we didn't want to get drenched.
You get drenched.
You get drenched. Like absolutely, think like build barges. What's the other one? Dudley Do Rights.
Yeah.
I think like drenched like that. So we didn't do that, but I did see when I was looking up accessibility that they have a car that will accommodate a manual wheelchair. Obviously, you can't bring an electronic wheelchair, water, but if you can transfer to a manual chair, they do have a wheelchair car for that. Stairs in Hiccup Swing Glider,
Yes.
which again they can accommodate, but stairs. And then I was surprised how much of that extended queue was not covered from the shade. Thankfully, we weren't quite, the line wasn't quite long enough that we were really in the sun for
A
long time, but the ride wait was posted at like an hour, and we spent maybe 5 to 10 minutes in the sun before we got under the covered shaded area. So just one of the things in general, the park doesn't have any shade
There's no shade anywhere.
So, and it's Florida, so be prepared, drink a lot of water. They did do an amazing job. There are water bottle refills all out, and there's the freestyle machines where you can get water, but just there is no shade. There's no escape from it. And then the How to Train the Untrainable Dragon show.
The puppets are, would we call them puppets? I don't know. Are amazing. The show is cute.
Yeah, it didn't have, the plot seemed odd.
It was like, we have these amazing puppets.
Let's
And
write
then
a
it's
show
like,
around it. Yeah.
It's fine.
I would see it again, air conditions, but the puppetry, the stunts of it was really, really cool. That first moment when Hiccup flies with Toothless that you, if you don't know it's coming that first time, it's really well done. The plot of the show was a little odd.
Yes.
They were we wrote a plot around having all these cool dragon puppets on stage.
It's fine.
So, I feel like we didn't experience all, I think we missed a whole section of the, where Toothless meets. There's all of those things we'll have to look at next time.
We didn't eat anything.
We didn't eat anything in there.
We didn't do any shopping.
We didn't do any shopping. The only stairs I saw were in Hiccup's Wing Glider ride.
Right.
I also saw stairs in the queue for Fire Drill. I know we didn't ride on that, but I saw the stairs.
What's the other one?
Dragon Racers Rally, which I don't know if that has stairs or not. That's the spin one. And this one again had background music, but again the volume was not anywhere near as overwhelming as Nintendo World was. So, anything else on How to Train Your Dragon? Isle of Berk?
Nope.
This is Stardust Racers, a dueling coaster located in Celestial Park. When we were going to ride it, only one side was working, so we're going to try again in September because you really want to experience the dueling aspect of it when you ride it. This ride vehicle was a little less accommodating. Dana did fit, but it was the tightest fit of the rides we've tried so far. Our last portal to explore is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. So let's head to 1920s Paris. plain face of this arch represents the Muggle world, and as you walk through it to the other side, now you're in the magic world of 1920s Paris. Obviously, we need to try the butterbeer crepes. This restaurant functions just like Pizza Moon does, where you order on the app and then put in your table number once you're seated, and they will deliver it right to your table. We also got a strawberry mint iced tea that was a little bit sweet, and a lavender lemonade. Highly recommend sharing with a few friends. I don't think we liked it. Here, there's an American bar in Paris, but it's mostly just a place for casting spells with the wands. That's an aura protecting the entrance to the French Ministry of Magic. Back in this corner is where the metro flu is that takes you to battle at the ministry, which is currently delayed right now, so we'll see if we get on that too. Time to wait for the show La Cirque Arcanu. Here's another bottle refill station in the Ministry of Magic. This is the only land where you will not find the Coke Freestyle machines because it does not go with the theming. Just as we were getting out of the La Cirque Arcanu show, we saw that the ride had reopened, so we jumped in line with everyone else. Another bottle refill station in the line. This is the portrait room, which holds portraits and a bust of the previous ministers of magic. There's one empty spot, likely where the portrait of Pius Thegnus should be. He was the minister during Voldemort's reign, but was under the Imperious Curse.
Welcome to the Ministry of Magic. My name is Higgledy. Do be careful as you make your way through my former mistress Dolores, of which is office. The mess here is dreadful and Higgledy is arranging it as quickly as possible. My former mistress Dolores, of which decided to go.
So after a delay of about, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes? Yeah, it took us about 3 hours total to get through. We rode Battle for the Ministry. What did you think? Was it worth a 3-hour wait?
I mean, it was
really cool.
I will never wait 3 hours.
No,
again.
I don't wait 3 hours for things, but we've done it. Now, if it's a reasonable wait, I would do it again because it was really... All right, and our last land of the day was the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and Ministry of Magic, which was 1920s Paris themed around fantastic beasts and where to find them.
Right.
And then I get the concept of taking the Flu Network from Paris to England to London to that Ministry of Magic. I get
Right.
that whole Flu Network concept that would take me from Paris to Britain for the Ministry of Magic or Battle at the Ministry ride, but I don't get the like
You also jump forward into the future,
Yeah.
like 80 years.
whatever.
It's magic.
It's magic. The land was beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
And again, attention to detail, like so amazing. You have no concept that you're anywhere else except in that land when you're in there. Even like some of the like a lot of the team members had their like hometown or whatever was a French town. Is that real?
Right, or is it
Or
part
are
of
they
the...
tricking us?
Right.
And they're all just speaking false accents.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's like, but they tricked us, right?
Yeah.
Or they didn't. I don't know. But it was pretty amazing.
It was just, again, the attention to detail, all the like, and they really thought about, right, there's a lot of space. I think there's enough space that there should be another attraction there, and maybe...
I think they're counting the spells
As an attraction?
Almost a lot of windows.
Yes, they had tons of
In
spell
a back corner
doing.
where the American bar is, every window has a spell in it.
Yeah.
So they're really leaning in on that, which is good because
Yeah,
people love that.
And they have the new interactive, like 2.0 wands that interact with the app. You don't have one of
Yeah.
those, we just have a regular one. But you could spend a lot of time, like, really immersed in that, like, Paris thing. The Le Cirque Arcanu show. Again, sort of my same thoughts with the Untrainable Dragon show.
Amazing puppetry.
The magic, the special
Yes.
effects, the puppetry of that show was incredible. And I think they were like, we have all these cool effects and puppets, and now we need to write a storyline so we can use them all, right? Like the storyline
was weak.
weird. This, I did not like the loading of this show.
Loading was very clunky. You
And-
do like a pre-show 1st, except you're just in a big circular room. Everyone is standing. You can't see
You are
what you're
smushed in this and then you funnel from that through like one narrow door into the main show, and so like the load felt clunky and very claustrophobic. This is I don't like small spaces. I don't like large crowds of people. This was the first place that I felt panicky.
Yeah.
Like, there were a few other places and queues where I'm like, oh, I don't like this. This is a little tight. This was the first place that I felt really panicky in. The, like, really enclosed. I couldn't get to an exit. You were crammed in, and then you're just, like smushing your way into the main show.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know how they solved that, but that was hard.
I don't think we will do this one again. Like,
No.
even for AC.
No, I don't. Knowing that pre-show funnel is coming, I don't think I could get in the queue.
Yeah.
Because that's how panicky it was.
Yeah.
And again, really cool puppetry, really cool show, but that from a accessibility and thinking about the flow of things, that was too much for me.
Yeah, and accessibility seemed like an afterthought there also. They had just like temporary collapsible stanchions up.
In this first pre-show, that if you were in a mobility aid, you would go and wait over here so they could load you
first. And there was no signage, there was no team member there directing anyone. When they opened the doors to the main show, the actor was the one who told the people
in the mobility aids to go first.
It was just weird.
And like we were standing there because we were like we were funneling. We were some of the last people in this room, and we funneled behind this like temporary rope stanchion. And then a team member came and was like, "This is the mobility section." And then they walked away, and then there was no sign. So then more people ended up back there.
Yeah,
it just felt
just
like
not well done.
Right.
It was very like afterthought.
Yeah. I don't. There were no stairs in the land itself.
No.
Ministry Battle at the Ministry, which is the ride, had stairs.
I lied before, by the way. I did put my earplugs back in for that queue because you're in these tiled hallways after it's long, so that all the sound just reverberates, and then it's like
it's all the people talking, all the
lot.
sounds of the queue, everything's bouncing back and forth. The ride went down.
Yeah, we were in the queue for almost 3 hours.
I think my limit ceiling of waiting for anything is about an hour. If that queue is an hour or under, I will ride it every time. That ride
It was amazing.
was incredible.
The animatronics, I don't know how much you want to teased, but the animatronics I was convinced was a real person.
Dana got off and was like, "Was that a person?" In like two of the scenes, no, it was incredibly well done. And again, I would say the ride vehicles, it almost is like the Tower of Terror setup.
It felt like that.
On the Forbidden Journey, like arm that moves things around.
Yeah.
Really smooth, really like.
Except for the parts where
they don't want it to be smooth, but like the screens weren't like Forbidden Journey. There was no motion sickness.
Right.
Really well done with like physical. But yes, it was incredible, and I would 100% ride it again. But I'm not going to wait 3 hours.
Waiting 3 hours ever again. Yeah, we don't know if there's a car that has a place where you could like wheel in and they lock you into place. I don't know.
I'm gonna guess no, just because I've not seen things that have a height requirement. That I don't know how like restraint would work for that.
Oh, I don't know.
That you would probably, but whatever. Okay.
My understanding is that this ride is very, very sensitive, and that's why it breaks down a lot. That like even if you're sitting in your little chair, it's just a lap belt.
Mm-hmm. It's just a seatbelt. Mm-hmm.
If you crossed your legs, apparently even that can trigger
the safety ride sensors that like you've fallen out of the ride or something. And
so I'm assuming after a while they will work those bugs out, but right now it's like.
But like part of the load was the team member coming and saying, "No, don't cross your legs. Put your feet flat on the ground and back against the leg rest and sit straight up with your back against it," because they know that that's what it is, but that's what it continues to have, like significant delays. But it is a high capacity ride, so if they could work out the delays, I imagine it would it would not have terrible waits all the time. But they haven't worked out the kinks yet. Anything else for Ministry of Magic? No, park has officially closed, so we're heading back to the bus to get our car. All right, and the final land is sort of the center hub of everything that connects all the portals is Celestial Park. So that has a carousel ride.
Yes.
And the Stardust Racers.
Yes.
which we are 0 for 2 on. We did not ride either of those during this.
Only one half of Stardust Racers was running, and it's a dueling
It's a dueling coaster, so if I'm going to ride it.
We want to...
I want it to be dueling. So we'll have to ride that in September. But that really, they really put like the park in Celestial Park.
It's beautiful.
And I think as trees grows in, but it's very green, and there's a lot of just quiet spaces and fountains and landscaping and stairs.
And lots of stairs. There's like, it was like they just wanted to make it interesting.
Right, it's like leveled. Where
there's just like 4 stairs down. I get it. Like it makes it beautiful and feel organic and like it's always been there. But I'm just surprised in general for the whole park in 2025 that we didn't build a park that can accommodate more of everyone.
Yes, that was my overwhelming thought as I experienced this. Like, I can do stairs, right? I don't have mobility issues yet. And I understand the theme parks built years ago when maybe we should have known better. But now we know better.
And we really
know better. And I'm just surprised that there were stairs everywhere.
And it just seemed like there was a lot, like no thought into that almost.
Right. Like
everything was an afterthought, and it's just going to make a lot of people feel other.
Yeah. Like, yes, here's an elevator you can take, but you have to leave the queue, take the elevator, then you have to try and rejoin the queue. Maybe you have a larger party and you get split up, or you're in the express line and you have to take this elevator and you have to wait.
The direct route to this restaurant is here with 4 steps. But
you can go
you're gonna have to go all the way
around
to get to. It's just odd.
It was odd. It was an odd, like, that's how you would design the park.
Now,
knowing the park is going to open in 2025, like that was again incredibly well done. Well, the details, the execution of like the theming and the amazing. But nobody in the room when they were designing this.
I give 2 thumbs up to the art direction.
Yes.
I give at least 1 thumb down to the operations people.
Yeah. Like having a, elevator to accommodate you on the stairs meets the definition of accommodating someone. But why did we need an accommodation?
Right.
Why didn't we think about designing this?
A ramp or a sloping hill instead of so many stairs.
So many stairs. Practice your stairs now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's one point in the what is it called? Ministry of Magic ride?
The Ministry.
Where you go up a flight of stairs to immediately go down a flight of stairs.
Now we're clearly going over a track of ride path.
Or something.
But like it's literally up and down.
It's like who designed this?
There had to be a better way. Yeah. And I just like we're going back in September. I'm very excited to go back, but I just can't wrap my head around the execution of thinking about you're never going to be able to accommodate every single person's unique needs.
But it seemed like a lot of these things were pretty simple. Other people have already thought of it. We don't have to invent anything new fixes or executions or whatever.
Overall, any other final thoughts?
Next time I want to do a lot more eating.
Yes.
There's so many things.
I would recommend going with friends and sharing because there's so much food that looks incredible and we just...
All the food we had was really, really good. And there's so many options and such like diverse options.
Mm-hmm. I will give them one bonus point for a large majority of their eating establishments being inside with air conditioning. Because
that's awesome.
That's a fantastic break because there's no shade anywhere else. Mm-hmm. So yes. Yeah.
I probably shouldn't do any shopping. But
no, we're gonna.
But we barely went into any stores.
Yeah, we didn't. We
surprisingly.
Didn't. I'm hoping when we go in September because we went during a preview day. So I'm hoping when we go in September that they're open into the evening.
Yeah.
Because I want to see Celestial Park at night. I want to see Dark Universe at night.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we'll have a little bit more time, length of time to be in the park. Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, I'm Kirby.
I'm Dana.
And we are
Migratory
Migratory Nerds.
Nerds.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get notified when all of our new videos drop.
Bye.
Bye.